Hey everybody, it's Paul from Last Level Tech, and it's GTA 5 day for the PC. So what better way to show it off than with a pair of GTX Titan X's. As you can see here running in my system, which is an overclocked 3770K, overclocked to 4.6 gigahertz. It's got 16 gig of RAM, and I'm running them off the game off an SSD, a Crucial MX100 SSD. And here is the game running at the moment. The TV I'm running it on is a Sony Bravia, but it's only 1080p. But of course, the GeForce experience and everything else allows you to run what's called DSR, Dynamic Super Resolution. So I'm going to run this at 4K rendering, and we're going to see what frames per second and everything else we get. So if you bear with me for 1 second, I'll get this set up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay everybody, here we go. We are in Franklin's house at the moment. And yeah, like I said earlier, this is a 1080p Sony Bravia TV, but I'm using Dynamic Super Resolution from nVidia, which you can set up in the nVidia control panel, to set the resolution of the actual game as 1080 as 4K. So 3840 by 2160, which you can see there. Full screen, we're running DirectX 11. Aspect ratio is auto. Refresh rate is set to 60, but with VSync isn't enabled. And then we've got things like the FXAA on, but MSAA is off because that does have a hit on performance. And to be honest, when you're running at these kind of resolutions, especially if you're downscaling from that kind of resolution to 1080, you don't need to run MSAA or any real kind of anti-aliasing, to be honest. Everything else is set to max, so the population density, the variety, the scaling is all maxed out. Texture quality, shader quality, shadow quality, reflection quality. Again, MSA for reflection isn't needed, so it's off. Water quality, everything is all set to high or ultra whenever the max setting is, and post effects is on ultra as well. And if I look in the advanced graphics, you can see there extended distance scaling is set to maximum, shadow distance is maximum, and every other details are on. So it says there video memory is being used 8.2 gig out of the 24 that's available of the two GTX Titan X's. And I'm running MSI Afterburner with the Reverse Tuner Statistics program to give those details which you see on the top left hand corner. I've had to blow the zoom up quite high to get it to actually show as big as it is. But what you can see is running Direct3D DX11 frame rates at the moment. And we can see GPU 1, GPU 2, the temperature and the fan speed and the CUDA core speed, and for memory card, the memory on card 1 and card 2, the memory speed and the amount of memory being used by each card. Excuse me. So we are, this is running on a Windows 10 technical preview, by the way, so it is a beta, and the graphics drivers are the new 350 nVidia drivers, which include the SLi profile for Grand Theft Auto 5. Hence why you see the scaling between the two is pretty good. The memory usage and everything else. You're not seeing one card just idling and the other doing all the horsework. I have played the game a little bit just at these settings to kind of just get my bearings as to what it was going to look like. And the first thing I will say is that even with these settings maxed out, there is still texture popping. You can see it in distance and everything else, and especially what I'm going to show you, not so much when you're doing driving and everything, but if you're in a plane and you fly low to the ground, you'll see quite a lot of texture popping and stuff like that, even when you're running with two GTX Titan X's. But I think this is probably a good demo to show you what you can expect. So we're inside the house at the moment. I'm just looking around. You might see some tearing on the screen because yeah, I haven't got VSync enabled. But the main thing here to focus on is the frames per second on the top left hand corner. And as we walk outside, you can see the frames drop a little bit. Not too bad. I can flick into full screen to first person mode as well, which you can see there. Swipe my hand around, blah blah blah. There's the blimp, the atomic blimp is up in the air. And let's go and jump into the car. And what I'm going to do is drive straight over to the airport and going to hijack a plane. So you'll get a good quick synopsis of what this actually runs like when you're driving. I'll just drive around a little bit here, so you can see the neighborhood, the people, the density, the lushness of the actual world itself. I mean, the detail is spectacular, what it is. I mean, Rockstar themselves deserve credit for what they've done in releasing this version on the PC, even if it is 16, 17 months late. you know, especially after the debacle that was a GTA 4 kind of port to the PC. And yeah, you can see we're still in around the 60 frames per second mark, dropping maybe a couple of frames here and there as I... yeah, well, that's very nice, isn't it? Yeah, thanks very much for that. So let's go back out with Zane. You can see we're around 58, 60 frames per second. So yeah, dynamic super resolution, for those that don't know, is it just allows you to render your games at a much higher resolution than your TV is capable of. So the benefits of that are you getting all of the textures and everything else of those higher resolutions, and then the graphics cards on the fly downsample them to the resolution of your TV. So the TV is still running at 1080p. It's not like it's got a miracle cure for getting 4K on a 1080p TV. But you know, you're getting the benefits of those higher resolution textures, and I must say, on games like Mordor and on this, it looks spectacular. So I'm just going to enable Franklin's special here. We'll try and avoid this Jeep and hit that ramp to get over the security. Let's go fly through the air. Okay, let's see if we can control the car in the air. Good landing, good landing. Alright. Jump failed, but never mind. So I'm going to drive over here. You can see a plane is taking off, and it's still in around the 60, 70 frames per second mark. I'm going to hijack this plane. So even though I'm quite early in the game, you can hijack planes and fly them. Quite a good little tip if you want to get in and get a plane early. What is also quite useful at getting in and getting a plane early is the map. You can immediately open up all the map for yourself and kind of just fly around, spend some time flying around to open all the areas up, so which I'll show you now in a second. So I'm just going to reverse my plane out here. Come on, take its time. That's fine. Avoid the other plane if I can. Oops, I've not done that well, have I? Come on, turn. Okay. Okay, that's it. Should get enough speed this time. And we'll look to take off. Avoid the cop car. An unorthodox way of taking off, but hey, it works. We're up. So we're into 70 frames per second. During the daytime, the frames per second are a lot lower. Well, not a lot lower, but they are maybe 5 to 10 frames per second lower than what they are at night. As you can see, we're now flying. We've got the beautiful looking seaside, our water effects and everything else there. But as I go across now, you will start to see some objects kind of appear, some shadows like there on the building in the distance. You know, they're not too far distance either. You know, so even on a super high PC, you still get those kind of drawing effects on the game. And now we're up flying through kind of one of the really graphically intensive sections. You can see the frame rate did drop there to about 40 odd frames per second. We're back up into the 70s, and you can see particularly on the ground some kind of shadow effects do start to kind of come in as you drive in. Sorry, as you fly in over the land. But I mean, it looks spectacular. It has to be said. It really does. What a world that Rockstar have created. And it is great to have it on the PC finally as well. So let's take a flight across Los Santos and work our way over towards Blaine County. We'll fly over through the hills. You can see there, you know, those kind of effects of things kind of popping in. You don't notice them as much when you're driving, obviously, even with all the details maxed out. I mean, look at the terrain detail as I fly over it. But yeah, it is still a shame, you know, that does still show up as much as it does at the moment. I'm hoping that maybe in time when you know, maybe some extra drivers or some updates and everything else that come out from Rockstar and nVidia, some more optimization is done on the game. I'm sure that Rockstar will benefit from seeing all the different types of combinations of feedback from users as they try and use the game. You know, they might be able to improve the visuals of the game, so to speak, and see what they can do. But yeah, as you can see, I'm flying across towards Blaine County. We're down into the 40s in some instances, but it's generally pretty consistent, and so it's certainly above the 30 frames per second the game was originally designed for, which was for all the consoles, next gen and old gen. and this is, like I say, running at is being rendered at 4K resolution. So if I drop this down to even a 1440p or 1080p, you know, I'm going to benefit from that, and maybe even apply some anti-aliasing if I wanted to. But like as I said earlier, when you're running at crazy high resolutions like this with the 4K, you don't need to be fussed too much about anti-aliasing, because the rendering is so high, it looks pretty sharp. So what I might do is just end this video quickly and see if we can get that down to 30. So there you go, 37 frames per second if I fly in just that little location there. But I'm going to just land in the in here, and in fact, I tell you what, I'm going to try and land on the freeway. Let's see what that does. If I don't get shot down because I'm too close to the airbase. Let's see if I can land the plane. Oh, oh, that's not gone well. Oh, that's not gone well at all. I think I might have to try and land here. Hey, get out, quick. I think I'll take that. I haven't been killed, I've walked away. That's good for me. Franklin will do with that. And there you go. That's Grand Theft Auto 5, GTX Titan X's in SLi, and that kind of performance of what you might expect. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please rate and subscribe, and I will speak to you later. Bye.